And y'all don't know what I went through.
Do you have a cart in your hands right now?
Nike Talk was that place that spiraled what you enjoy now.
Anyone who brought a Kobe shoe in, I would clean it for free.
Man, Melo was better than a lot of people in the league.
I saw my favorite jerseys, that one, the Barkley.
Kobe fours.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 65. This is the Dandin and RJ Machismo podcast. This is Dandin. My co-host RJ Machismo could not make it tonight, but he did say hello to everyone. So tonight we have episode 65 with Ben Roth of Roth Vintage. He is a small business owner from Pennsylvania, correct?
Yep, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, from Pennsylvania. And he, just like our previous episode with Bobby Mullins, he's also a small business owner. His specialty is thrifting, apparel, and he has a bunch of great stuff that you can see in his background. So, how are you doing today, Bobby? I'm sorry, Bobby. How are you doing today, Ben?
It's okay. It's okay. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Sorry about that.
Off to a hot start.
Yeah, man. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on today. And I see you
Of
got
course.
I see you're all decked out in the bullet slash wizard. I know wizards Capitals gear.
Yeah, I got
So
inspired from your previous episode you were just mentioning with
awesome.
Bobby.
Yeah, man.
So,
Yeah, just to start off, so tell us more about yourself, Ben.
yeah, so my name is Ben. I'm the owner and operator of Roth Vintage, established 2017. Originally, I grew up in Virginia. I know we've, talked about this a bunch. Grew up in Fairfax. I guess born in 88, a 90s kid, technically. But yeah, just grew up playing sports, loving sports. That was my whole thing. My first ever dream job, I wanted to just be a PE teacher, keep it pretty chill. And yeah, grew up kind of like what Bobby was talking about last episode. Sports cards were my like big thing when I was a kid. Just loved collecting, going to shows. Do you remember Landmark Mall?
Yeah, I remember Landmark Mall was that in Virginia, right?
Yeah.
It,
So
it was a small
every
mall.
Saturday, excuse me, my dad and I would go to there would be a card show there. So we'd get up early, go hit the card show, see what we could find. So I think that and my grandmother, when I would go visit her, it was Antiques Roadshow on the TV nonstop. That's what we would
Nice.
always be watching. She loved her Antiques Roadshow. And so I think kind of like those two things combined, sort of before I realized it even, got me into like, the hobby and collecting and the search of things essentially. And yeah, so fast forward 2017 is when I say I officially started. Kind of just one night searching online, stumbled upon some champion jerseys, and that was kind of like the beginning for me. So in the beginning, it was just like started Instagram, just posting what I like, and selling here and there, mainly just to buy the stuff that I wanted to buy, supporting the habit in a way. So start off with champion jerseys, and then did that for a couple years. And then my fiance and I, so we live in Pennsylvania. She's from the area that we live in currently. And so we moved here May of 2019. Um, so we moved up here, and that was her goal like the whole time, be able to work from home. So very fortunate she's able to do that. So work from home and then got a job up here for about a year. And then obviously COVID hits 2020, right? And so kind of a combination of COVID and my job, new ownership taking over, kind of just opened the door for opportunity for me to like pursue the thrifting, small business owner thing full time.
Mm.
Um, and so I guess summer of 2021, I would say I started full time. So kind of like I said, 2017 was my first like post, quote unquote, but I guess 2021 would be the time you could pinpoint to say like I started doing this full time. And then here we are.
Man, it's funny, right? Like how your passion becomes a business and it's all out of love, right? It's all out of
Hmm.
it's just sporadic, curiosity. Like, hey, like you were saying, like you were you were initially just collecting like, NBA champion, replica jerseys, and one thing led to another, and then now you've become a successful small business, and we'll talk more about that. So with your business, Ben, with Roth Vintage, how did you get that? How did that first started?
So, um, I'm very, very fortunate to have had a lot of good people help me along the way. Whether that be family members, people across the country I buy from. And so, kind of just asking for their support, because obviously it's a big step, like leaving your job, doing this full time. You need to have a good support system. And so yeah, so just like I said, over the summer of 2021, kind of just jumped in full steam ahead. A lot of trial and error, a lot of learning, continually learning, but sorry, yeah, like I said, over the summer of 2021, like just kind of jumped in full time and went from there.
Nice. So like what was like the first item to start your business? Like did you have to like use of your personal collection to get that started, or did you start it to like sourcing like through thrifting? Like how did that first start for you?
So I had, I was doing it part time, so I had a little bit of inventory from there, and then I did sell off a few of my own personal things. I kind of try to keep a rule: if you haven't worn it for 6 months, time to get rid of it. So I got rid of a couple of my own personal things and then just hit the thrifts hard. I kind of been delving into it here and there the previous couple years, the 2019 to 2021. So it wasn't a completely foreign idea, but transitioning from essentially for fun. Obviously the side cash is nice, but it is a hobby at the end of the day to, viewing it as a job. Had to make that adjustment and yeah, just mainly thrifting was the big thing. Like I said, I built some by then, luckily some local good connections I could buy off of here and there. But the thrifting was the big one. Just you got to get out there and just go hunting. It's not going to come to you. So that was the biggest thing I had to learn. Every day is not going to be a great day, but just consistency is key.
Wow. So like when when you first started your business, I know that, you had to use some of your items. What was like, do you still remember what was the first like few items that you sold that you realized like, hey, like, I think I can make this into a small business of mine. Like, do you remember what that first few items were?
Um, I don't know if I could pinpoint to like a specific item. Um, but I had a couple like better bullets pieces that I had sourced myself, which I was kind of proud of to like move off of and get rid of. And maybe like one or two other things where you're just like, okay, you can find things and then move them, even if it's, the higher price stuff. And so, like I said, I can't probably pinpoint to one specific item. But there was a few times where, you're like, okay, I got the hang of it. People are vibing with me. So, yeah, I think, not one specific event, but
Nice, nice. Um, so with that, do you feel that because I know like you pretty much develop a clientele over the years since you've been on business since 2017, right?
yes,
So it's
that
almost
was when
like
I started the page.
eight
Yeah.
years. So how did you start your business? Like was it through just like social media? Was that
Instagram.
Instagram?
Instagram was huge for me. I would be nowhere without Instagram. Yeah, that was because like I said, that was at first it was just posting for fun, like, hey, find it online, I bought this, cool. And then you start posting online and then you really learn how to use Instagram, hashtags, meeting people in similar communities, things like that. Um, so Instagram was huge for me. I it feels harder to build it up now. Back then it was kind of newer and seemed a little bit easier, but you just posting on Instagram and then kind of the ball just got rolling inadvertently. I wasn't planning on it, but like I said, you build like a following within the champion jersey community and the jersey community, and then you start selling stuff, and then because you're selling stuff, well, you meet new people. So yeah, excuse me. Instagram is like the one thing I can point to that like helped me build my platform and help me get to where I'm at today.
Yeah, and I could attest to that because I've also supported Ben just through just curiosity of browsing and eventually like every time like but Roth Vintage is also famous for the story sale. He just recently had one earlier this week where he has items for rare, very good reasonable prices. It includes the shipping. These items are ranging from just nostalgia or pop culture apparel. It's you have a nice mixture of items. So how do you curate that as far as doing like a story sale for that, Ben?
So the story sale, um, I have like my depop, which I post everything and anything on. But the story sale, I try to kind of curate to like things I would want to see personally. If I'm scrolling Instagram and someone's like, "Hey, I'm running a story sale," like if I click on the first couple things, like I want to keep clicking. I don't want to be like, this isn't interesting to me. So I try to, like I said, curate it to things that I obviously one will think will do well, but two, I think people will want to see and find interesting, whether that, obviously I love the sports stuff. If it could be all sports all the time, I would have it that way. But, like a cute cat sweatshirt or a funny, like, or not a funny, but like you bought the Dare shirt, which is popular,
Yeah.
so just try to switch it up, put up there things I think different things from what I post on the main Instagram that I think people will want to see.
Yeah. And are you surprised like how soon of a sale, like as soon as you post it, that that, hey, like I'm gonna give it a chance, with the small story sale, I'm gonna see how it goes. Do you get, a like rapid, like instant, I guess attention as far as like, hey, I wanna get it now, send me your info.
Yeah, honestly, it all depends. Sometimes it's a huge success, and then sometimes I'll go 0 for 12. It just honestly, which is business, obviously, but just it kind of all depends. The reaction is different. You can never you never know what you're gonna get. Like I said, sometimes I'll go 0 for 12. Other times I'll have someone message me, "Hey, I want to buy 8 things," Just kind of all depends. So yeah, it's you never know.
Nice, nice. And you got your curation is very unique. Not of anyone from not trying to knock anyone small business, but I see like you try to cater like through different audiences. Majority like the sports stuff is like wow. Like I remember you posted um what is it like a Washington Bullets warm-up a sand knit jacket, and I was like, what size is this? And you were like, oh, this is a large, because I'm like an extra large. And
Mhm.
I knew that thing was gonna sell, because I know that you had the audience, and you had some potential clients that wanted to acquire that. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy that you have that type of stuff. And I wanted to follow up with what stuff did you keep as far as like you decide not, you're not going to be selling this. What was the best finds that you kept for yourself?
Um, let's see. Like thrift find just in general.
Yeah, just anything, just out of,
So this
on the
is
top of your
I have a
head.
couple prized possessions.
Let's go.
This is probably my favorite thing in my closet.
Wow.
The chalk line, I'll try to hold it up for you.
Wow.
The chalk line Fanimation jacket.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
Yeah, I've had this a couple of years now at this point, but these are so I was looking for this, I don't know, 5 years, and it popped up online. The guy had it for a very fair price or best offer. And I sent in an offer and like 5 minutes passed and I was like, dude, you've been looking for this thing for 5 years, you know? And so as soon as I went back to just like buy it outright, they accepted my offer and it sold. Um, so not a super exciting story about how I acquired it, but yeah, this is just one of those ones where uh
Crazy.
I haven't seen another. That's not saying anything crazy. You know what I mean? I'm just saying
Yeah.
I personally haven't seen another one. So admittedly an XL and it's a little bit too big for me, but it's like just one of those things where even if it's too big, I'd rather have it than not, you know? Um,
Wow.
yeah, so this is one of my favorite just acquisitions over the past few years. And then so this
The Len bias.
Len Bias with the
Oh man,
80s champion. This
damn.
was when I first started, 2017. This was my birthday gift to myself. And I always told myself I would never sell this no matter what. Still in my closet. Probably a little bit too small for me now because it is an 80s medium. But yeah, I love this thing, man. Just great color, you know. Like I
Yeah.
said, this was my birthday gift to myself when I first started doing this. Just a little whatever. But
Did he ever did the Terrapins ever wear that color
yeah, they were this style. Yeah.
okay.
I once saw some guy had like the official authentic name on the back with the matching shorts. A little bit out of my price range, but
Yeah.
yeah, I got this one for a good deal. I don't remember what, but yeah, so had this one and then I do have a favorite thrift find. One of my favorites. I'm sure you will appreciate this. Not sports,
Oh, yeah.
but just a good, 90s cartoon. You can't beat it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Good
There's no
color.
wrinkles on that shirt.
Yeah, it's like brand new. It's funny because I found this one and another one. And the other one I found, someone like wrote their initials right here. It's
Oh,
like it's beat up. Yeah, but this one fortunately was clean. So those are like a few, this one I thrifted. The other two, obviously I found online. But those are like a few of my all-time favorite. Like this just to me is like pure TV nostalgia. Um, then like the Power Rangers were two of my favorite shows growing up.
wow,
So, I try to switch it up.
man.
I like one thing I've learned and about doing this, I don't know if learn is even the right word, but you find stuff you didn't know existed, and then you're like, oh, it like opens up a memory bubble that you didn't even know you had about something from your childhood, and you're just off and running. Kind of like what happened with that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to
Yeah.
me.
Like how did it feel like, when you first saw it, you first acquired it, did all that nostalgia start in childhood? I'm sure that start bringing
Yeah,
back fun memories.
sorry. It's just like oh, I'm very happy you said that because I have one more speaking of nostalgia.
Yep.
Uh, okay. It's not in here, I'm sorry. But I
Can we
found a
please
Batman tee, and the whole point of the t-shirt was Batman was the first PG-13 movie I ever saw. And so it holds, aside from like my favorite superhero, just like it holds a special place in my heart. Kind of talking about where you were talking about like the stories and everything and like the nostalgia behind it of just like my favorite superhero and also the funny bit about like the being the first PG-13 movie that I ever saw, Batman 89, I guess it is.
yeah.
So yeah, so kind of on the whole, circling back about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too, it's just like, it's enjoyable to find something from your childhood, especially something like that where, I primarily when I'm like looking online and for myself, like it's a lot of sports stuff, admittedly. So when you get into that other lane of like TV and pop culture and you kind of enter that area that you don't focus on too much or maybe have forgotten about a little bit, it's new and exciting and I enjoy that.
What's that one NBA jersey that you have in behind you, Ben?
Oh, so this is I know we've talked about this on many occasions. Yeah. So, home white Weber Bullets, can't beat it, man. Get back hit. Get
Yes.
back hit. Good name and number on the back. So I can't remember if we've talked about this, but apparently like the home whites were District Maryland, Virginia only release. And so they're very difficult to find. So I hold this one, and there's two styles of this, which I know we've also talked about
Yep.
with just the straight blue font. This one is the blue with the red outline.
Yes.
So I do love the home whites and just the Howard. You know, we were kind of talking about it before we went live. Yeah, if it's true that they're like only local release, I mean it's gonna be impossible to find, but that's part of the fun though, you know? Just finding I thought I had oh, kind of like talking about impossible to find jerseys. The Dr. J Gold 50 logo, you know.
Wow.
But I just say it's like I spent like the chalk line like years looking for this thing and it finally popped up. And so, just patience is key, man. Hopefully one day. We'll get there. You and me both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because Ben, I that because you were referencing that Bullets Weber jersey. There's two different styles. I have the other style that you
The all
that you,
red, yeah.
yeah, I
Which
have that
I
one.
don't even think I knew about till you probably I think were the one that brought that to my attention
Yeah,
actually. Yeah.
yeah. It's crazy because like I said, like it was funny because I acquired it and it's rare. So I negotiated it. It was a recent a really good deal for on my end. And then I saw that one. I think maybe that was the one that you did you get that recently or was that like a recent cop or you've had it before?
The Weber?
Yeah.
Well, not recently, no.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, there was another Weber of that same one that you had in a 52. 52 is like how 52 is very hard to find in
Oh
a
yeah, yeah.
they're like unicorns. I have there's also I think the Champion 90s I think that's the guy that sells like NBA jerseys. So long story short, like I have a Red Bullets Rod Strickland jersey in the 52 and he has a client that wants it, but I would just entertain the offer. Yeah, I want this amount, but kind of, I get it, trying to get a fair deal, but just the rarity of having a
Oh yeah.
52 in a Strickland,
And the
I know what it's
size.
worth. Yeah,
Yeah, the size is, you know, um, you don't see a ton of 52s floating around.
no, not in a Bullets jersey either.
No, for
No,
sure.
no. So and your hat too. Is that a sports specialties cap, right?
Yeah.
I've been wanting one. That one and my grill hat is the Logo Athletic Shark too that we talked about. The prices on that is insane. I don't
It's
understand
ridiculous.
why. I think it's because Weber was on the commercial that
Oh, was he really? See, I didn't know that.
yeah, he was on a commercial. Yeah, I mean if you YouTube it, like it's like a 30-minute commercial, a 30-second commercial.
Right.
But I just don't understand. Like I see different Shark Tooth of like different sports, but the Bullets one is always like the most expensive one.
Yeah, admittedly I got this one. I got an insane deal off eBay, 20 bucks for this one, which
God.
I couldn't believe. But like some of the ones, like, sorry,
No, no, no. You're good. Oh my.
like these ones I paid up for, But yeah, I don't. I got
Yes, that's the
speaking
Joe
of two
Arnold
different
one.
colored fonts,
Yeah.
same hat, different font. Yeah. But yeah, I don't. It's like the shark tooth and the splash and there's
Hmm.
a diamond cut on eBay right now that like is the auction's still going and it's at like 178, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shark tooth, I'll, I thought about maybe paying up, but I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna pay up, it has to be like, new to great condition. This one is like, has a little yellowing on it. You can tell like the person wore it and never
Mhm.
washed it. So, I think like you were saying, like patience is also key and finding the
Yes.
right item at the right time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's crazy. So I also wanted to ask you, Ben, because I know you also are familiar with your different different small businesses. What is it like, as far as like sourcing through other businesses? Is that something that's common through, thrifting? How does that work for you guys?
Yeah. So I think it's a little bit of both. Like I said, I in the beginning, with the higher end items, the stuff I post like directly to Instagram, I was very fortunate to have some help from some very good people. But at the end of the day, if you can't rely on other people, you got to get out there and source yourself. So I think it's kind of hitting that sweet spot of predominantly sourcing yourself when you can, but also being able to rely on other people, especially like locally, because another thing I've learned is you're always going to have something that someone wants, whether that for trade mainly, or for sale. So try to always keep, like I said, focus on sourcing yourself, but try to always keep those relationships open, because you will need to rely on other people at some point. It's just finding those people that are going to be reliable and good to you, because um, you can't always buying off strangers isn't always going to work. You got to build and work and develop those relationships. So I think kind of like finding the sweet spot is what I try to do personally. You know.
So like as far as like you sourcing, and I know you attend a lot of like thrifting events, so how is there like a big difference as far as like thrifting on your own spare time versus like attending an event? Like what are like the advantages and disadvantages on that?
Um, we'll start with the latter. So that I like events. I like shopping at events because usually I'm a vendor, so it's nice to shop, which been able to do. I went to one in Virginia and then a couple times in Pittsburgh. And so you actually at events, excuse me, I'm sorry. You take your time, look through the racks, meet people, try to develop those relationships. But at the end of the day, you know, I I personally learned that yes, you're gonna get some deals, but these people sell online too. They have their own businesses, so they're not going to just outright, hey man, here's whatever for 60% off. So you gotta kind of got to find like the give and take and wiggle room. Obviously, there's always deals to be made, um, and it is nice to get out there. You just kind of got to find the right people at events to deal with, because like I said, they are small business owners too. They got to keep the lights on. They're also trying to get good deals. So just kind of find the sweet spot in the middle. And then as far as sourcing on your own, I mean, the disadvantage, obviously, you go to Goodwill and nothing's there. That's just the chance that you're taking. But on the other end, you are on your own. You're just going there. If something costs $3.99, that's what you're paying for it. You're not paying the markup that the third party you're buying off of is charging. So at events it is nice because essentially, just had this thought, the curation's kind of done for you. Someone else did the hard part basically. You're just there to reap the rewards. Getting out there on your own, you got to look around, you got to dig, you got to have some good luck, kind of got to know which spots to go to. And that might not always be successful. Um, So it's like I said, kind of finding that sweet spot, or like finding that sweet spot of at events being able to work a good deal, but also knowing, someone else already did the labor and the hard work, and they're gonna upcharge you for that, rightfully so, obviously. Versus, you're on your own, you're just paying what you're paying at the thrift, and hopefully you have a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like just like any other business, right? There's always the ups and downs, and it comes with the territory as far as like, and then the most important thing, as you were saying, was the networking, the building relationships, because like you were saying, Ben, you may never know when that person may need your help in the long run, and that could benefit you towards your business and something, you can maybe they can outsource some items that you're willing to that you can get rid of and vice versa. So you
Hmm.
know, it's like it's almost like you guys help each other out, but also there's a thin line where, hey, like I need to run a business, you need to run
Yeah,
yours, that kind of thing.
yeah, no, exactly. It's treat people with well and with respect, and you'll get that in return. I can give you an example. I'm like 70 minutes outside Pittsburgh, essentially. And so, I come across a lot of Pittsburgh stuff, and it's like, reach out to some shops in Pittsburgh. It's like, hey, wholesale deal. We kind of both get the best of both worlds of like, I don't have to take a bunch of pictures and post a bunch of stuff online. You all can do that part. I did like the quote unquote hard part of finding it. Just kind of meeting in the middle of like, here's what I'm asking, just wholesaling, and you all can do your thing. And it's just kind of nice. Like I built up those relationships over the past, a few years, like I said, going to events in Pittsburgh and things like that. And yeah, it's kind of how the world spins.
Man, that's awesome. So we're pretty much towards the end, and I do appreciate your time,
Yeah, thank you
Ben.
again for having me on. Of
Yeah, so like I wanted to ask a few more questions. So like
course.
for any, and I asked Bobby this too, like what would be the advice that you would give for any aspiring, small business owner like you that's in the thrifting business? Like what would be your advice for them for the new startups that they want to get into the thrifting?
I actually wrote down a few things just so I wouldn't forget. Uh, be organized, stay consistent, and stay one day ahead would be my three like bullet points, I guess you could call them. You're like generic bullet points. Yeah, actually, let me step back too. You love what you do. You gotta like love and genuinely have passion for whatever. Not just this, like if you're opening a bakery, you gotta like love to cook, or bake, If you don't have that from the beginning, you're you're fighting an uphill battle so that'd be my number one, very important number one. But following those steps, like I said, just being organized is huge. That a number of things, inventory, your paperwork, your finances, whatever that might look like. Just making your life as simple as possible. And then what else did I say? Sorry. Consistency, obviously, with anything. Um, like in any job or life, you have a stretch of bad days in a row, but you got to keep showing up. And, eventually things will get rolling for you. Just keep showing up and be consistent. And then, yeah, staying one day ahead. I don't know. To me, what that looks like is just, if I need to take pictures, take the pictures for the next day so I can post those, and then take the pictures for the next day. So the next day rolls around and I can post those pictures, and then, yada, yada, yada. Those would be my three like big, huge kind of basic yet important uh bullet points. And but mainly, or yeah, mainly, you gotta love what you do though. That's in any job, obviously, but if you don't have the passion, and you're not like waking up looking forward to doing whatever you're about to be doing, then just, you know, not gonna work for you, in my opinion.
Nice. So my last question for you, Ben, since you are a collector and you are a business owner and you do have that rule of, within the 6 months, it's time to go, time to let it go. What are the few things that you're still looking for yourself for your collection to this day that you're still sought after?
Yeah, so we've ad nauseum talked about the White Howard, yeah, everything's blending together. The white Juwan Howard home bullets jersey. Um, it's kind of like the big ones, man. Like we were talking about the shark tooth, like some bullets hats. I think be cool to get an Ovechkin rookie year. The Screaming Eagle with the black with the gold, like that would be a great one to have. That's probably up there. So if I had to pick two, I'd probably like the Howard home white bullets feels like such a mouthful to say. And then yeah, the Ovechkin rookie year, which kind of just, is I've always been an Alex Ovechkin fan, and I have like the Rock the Red, some of the more recent like 2010 jerseys, but it'd be cool to get a Screaming Eagle rookie year.
The CCM, right? I think CCM
Yeah,
was
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the price of a couple expensive bullets hats, I think, last time I looked.
Yeah. And considering like Ovechkin's about to break Gretzky's record,
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
the market for Ovechkin
Yeah.
apparel is insane.
Bad time bad time to be looking for a jersey. Yeah.
But it's a good time for to be a seller too, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
you
Yeah.
can you
That
can
is
get your
true.
top dollar for these sought after collectors.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong on that front. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ovechkin was on the cover of like NHL, I forgot for EA Sports. That thing went up as well
Did
because
it?
yeah, I was just looking
Well,
like, let me just look
yeah, well it's
out
like
of curiosity.
it's like NCAA 14 for like forever was like 75 to $100 just because like that was the last version they made, and there wasn't another one till last year. So it's interesting, like, how those things kind of work.
That's crazy. So
Hmm.
I hope you find the things that you're looking for, Ben, and
Thank you. Likewise.
I'm still hoping and wishing we both get a good deal on the shark tooth bullets hat because
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out.
it's the last thing I and me and you talked about it. I've been collecting like Washington Bullets gear for more than 20 years, and
Hmm.
I've been very fortunate to piece it through together, and it's hard, it's difficult. It's very difficult. And I even thought about like, just maybe sell it as a whole set, but just looking back, like why am I gonna do something that's I'm gonna regret later and I've worked so hard and if it's one thing that I
Someone,
want to keep for myself, that will be it.
yeah, someone sent me someone had posted on their Instagram story a Bullets, I think it was Rex Chapman warm-up jacket.
I saw it on
And
eBay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And someone sent it to me, and like we were just talking, and I was like, yeah. Well, you earlier mentioned the warm-up jacket that I had, and I was like, yeah, I'm like such an idiot for selling it. And it's just like one of those things where uh for whatever reason I got rid of it and like just regretting it, and now like the universe has circled back, and uh opportunity to acquire another one if I want. So, just kind of be patient, like we've been saying the whole time.
It's funny because that's also on my save searches on eBay as well, and I see there's more bullet stuff now more than usual, especially like the
Hmm.
warm-up jackets. But it's like very like tedious because like there's like a home bullets jacket with like Daryl Walker's signature, and it's like yellow and faded and. There's also like a white home bullets warm up shooting jacket. We're saying, oh, this is Chris Webber's jersey, but I matched it up and I fact checked it. It's actually Scott Skiles like warm up jacket in the 48 because Weber
Because he
wears
wore
like a
4 too,
50.
yeah.
Yeah, he wears yeah, I think it's like a 44, 48, but yeah, Weber wears a 50 or 52.
Hmm.
Because I have the Joanne Howard one. They're almost, I mean, I know Weber's a little bit bigger, but they're about the same height. Just, Weber just a bigger player. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't want to put him out on the spot, like, but I mean, I think the price is like, I think 300 now. He was asking for like 1,000. Crazy. No, there was a guy that was selling a whole set for 1,000. A bullets. And it's the legit one. Like the pants and the and the
The
and the
jacket.
the jacket, yeah. I think that, yeah, it's sold now because it's gone. It's not on the listing anymore. But there is
Mm,
still a jacket looming around. Um,
yeah, the jackets pop up occasionally. The pants I don't ever really see.
so like one more question for you, Ben.
Yeah.
So the moment you see something on your search, like your saved searches on eBay or whichever site that you use, like what's your thought process on potentially acquiring that item, like with price and the rarity of that?
Um, for myself, like personally, if I'm gonna buy something,
Yeah, for yourself. Yeah.
um, I think rarity probably is number one.
Okay.
You know, obviously like monetary value is a very close number two. But you know, like with the chalk line jacket I showed earlier, I told the story about how I sent the offer and then waited 5 minutes and was like, dude, you've been looking for this forever, went back to buy it. So, as long as like it's crazy price, anything like that, I think rarity probably comes into play, like I said, number one. As far as like potentially reselling it, I guess in the back of my head, that's always a factor. Because in my opinion, if the piece is like worth it and rare enough, it's always going to hold its value or close to its value.
Hmm.
So I think subconsciously I probably like add that into the equation of like when I'm looking at something and gonna buy it. But like something I don't have it with me, but like I got a Tracy McGrady Raptors champion, pinstripe, popped up on eBay, uh, I don't know, a year ago, whatever. I think for like 115, and like I didn't think twice. It's like
Yeah.
when was the last time you saw one? It's always gonna be at least worth that. And he's one of my favorite players growing up, aside from like the collecting aspect of it. Um, so yeah, so I think rarity probably is like the number one. Like, when is the next time I'm gonna see this thing
Yeah.
show up online? Is
Yep.
usually the first question I ask myself.
Yeah, because I'm sure you've had that feeling where you've had those missed opportunities, right? Where you've seen it and and you thought about it and not and you second guess yourself, and in the moment
Yeah.
you things come into sense, it's gone. It's
Hmm.
the absolute worst feeling in
Yes.
the world.
It's like, I mean, you hear athletes say it all the time. It's like they remember the losses more than the wins.
Yep.
It's like the two things you didn't get is like what's keeping you up at night at 4 a.m., like aimlessly searching the internet trying to find it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yep. I totally, we're, for any collector, right? Any apparel collector, they do, everyone has their stories about like their wins and losses. And like you said, everyone remembers the losses and the wins. And those losses were painful, man. Like
Yeah.
they're very painful. Like there's one item that I regret not buying. It was for my son too. It was a starter Washington Bullets jacket, and it was a blue one. It was sold for $15, brand new with tags, with the starter tags. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna wait. And next
The
thing you
blue
know,
too. You see the red all the time, but the blue,
yeah,
yeah.
it was like, I mean, at the same on the bright side, like, you know what, he's gonna outgrow it,
Yeah.
but like just as a collecting piece, just to have that, hey, like I have it, with the tags. I know some whoever bought it, they probably made good use of it, or also a collector like ourselves. But yeah, it's just the worst feeling, man. Like I hated it. Like I saw it, and then it's to a point like you stop looking at that listing and you just want to
Yep.
remove it in your watch list.
Hmm.
The worst feeling.
Yeah.
It's
No,
worse.
it's
Like for me, it's worse than watching like something sports related. It's this to that level, right?
just a
Like at least
bitter
for
pill to
me, it is.
swallow.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, at least sports, it's like, your team loses, but you don't have any involvement. It's like you could have hit the buy it now button on the jacket, and you're like, oh my man, killing
yeah,
me. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, Ben. So, where can they find you? Where can they find your socials, and where can they find you, on how more on buying your items?
Yeah, so it's Roth Vintage, ROTH Vintage, on Instagram, Depop, Mercari, and eBay. Just keep it simple across the board. I post new items daily on the online selling platforms, Depop, Mercari, eBay, and then try to be more consistent on Instagram. You know, at least once every 7 to 10 days, make a post. But yeah, the cool good sports stuff, as Dan Den will tell you, goes on Instagram. And they're just Roth Vintage across all platforms.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ben. Like I said,
Hey,
I
thank
know
you so much for having me. I
you're a
genuinely
busy
appreciate you
guy.
having me
Yeah,
on.
you're a busy guy.
No, stop.
I'm a
Anything
supporter
for you,
myself.
man.
I got this cool like vintage like baseball because baseball season's coming. I got dirty looks like wearing this shirt in public. I forgot to tell you that. They're like, what is that? Did that ever exist? Like, yeah, like there was no filter in the 90s, compared to what it is now. So I appreciate, all the stuff that you source for me, and I know like you've always keep an eye out on for me. I always tell Ben, hey, like I want this certain item, and Ben's a good dude. Like he's very reasonable, he's very fair
Thank you.
priced. So hopefully, much continued success, Ben, and
Thank you.
yeah, man, like let's keep it going.
I have some XL Nike. I'll be sending you some pictures soon.
Awesome, awesome, man. All right, so thank you so much, guys. You
Thank
have a
you.
good evening.
You too. Thank you again for having me.
All right, thanks.